Vincent Brothers, a well-loved principal in Bakersfield, California, received news that on Tuesday, July 8, 2003, his wife, children, and mother-in-law were found murdered in their home. Despite the house being turned over and left in a mess, nothing had been stolen, and therefore police ruled out robbery, suspecting a deliberate act of homicide. Vincent had been cleared due to his absence, as he wasn't even in town, and had provided a solid alibi to prove so. However, on further investigations, detectives unearthed a chilling truth that left the entire community in shock. This is the sinister case of Vincent Brothers. Vincent Brothers was born on May 30, 1962, in Bellport, Long Island in New York. Described as charismatic, dependable, and diligent from a young age, Vincent had also dedicated time to serve in the Marine Reserves. Following his graduation from Norfolk State University, he ventured west in the mid-80s to pursue further education, ultimately obtaining his master's degree in California. Vincent's past was marked by tumultuous relationships. Despite swiftly ascending as a school administrator, his two brief previous marriages had ended in separation. In 1988, during his tenure at California State University in Bakersfield, he had his first child, a daughter, with his then-girlfriend. To establish paternity, Vincent filed a lawsuit against her and ultimately gained custody and visitation rights after verification. Initially ordered to pay $350 monthly for support, this amount was raised to $771 by 2003. That same year, he faced legal consequences, receiving a 6-day jail sentence and probation for a misdemeanor charge of spousal abuse. In 1992, Vincent entered another marriage, which also ended abruptly due to allegations of threats to kill and physical abuse by his second wife, leading to her filing for divorce. In 1996, allegations surfaced regarding Vincent's sexual misconduct towards a colleague at Emerson Middle School, where he served as the vice principal. The woman reported instances of harassment, stating that during a visit to his residence, Vincent had physically assaulted her and prevented her from contacting the authorities by seizing the phone. She attempted to report the incident to the police, but claimed she was dissuaded from doing so by them because Vincent was regarded as a respected member of the community, implying that her report might not be taken seriously or acted upon due to his standing. The harassment continued, including inappropriate touching at the school's front counter, leading the woman to take a leave of absence from what she deemed a harsh work environment. As the intimidation escalated to threatening phone calls, the school district investigated the claims, cautioning Vincent about potential career jeopardy if proven true. While Vincent denied the accusations and had no disciplinary record, the school administration transferred him to another school following their inquiry. Vincent started working at John C. Fremont Elementary School in Bakersfield, California, where he became a popular and well-regarded presence. His notable routine involved ensuring the safe passage of students by walking them home after school hours. During his tenure at Fremont Elementary, Vincent crossed paths with Joni Harper, who served as the campus security supervisor and also recognized for her role as a basketball official. They started dating, and their marriage ensued following the arrival of their first child, Marcus, and their family expanded with the birth of their second child, Lindsay, in 2000. However, due to Vincent's infidelity, their marriage was annulled in September 2001. In 2003, Vincent and Joni secretly remarried, and 4 months later their third-born child, Marshall, was born. But it wasn't long before Joni confided in friends that their marriage was once again facing issues. This time, however, she expressed fear that Vincent might try to get rid of her. Joni, the loving mother of 3, resided with her husband, her mother, Ernestine Harper, and children in Bakersfield, California. Known within their community as a joyful and involved family, they actively engaged in community events and maintained amicable connections with others. As mentioned earlier, Joni pursued her passion as a basketball official, while her mother garnered recognition for aiding wrongly accused minorities as a civil rights advocate. Outsiders perceived Vincent and Joni's marriage as solid, oblivious to any signs of the tragic events that would unfold later. Vincent had already moved out of the house in April, 3 months preceding the dreadful incident, due to the frequent conflicts he had with his mother-in-law, Ernestine. On Sunday, July 6, 2003, Joni, accompanied by her 3 children, Marcus, Lindsay, and 6-week-old Marshall and Ernestine Harper attended a morning church service. It marked Marshall's inaugural attendance at the church. Following the service, they went for lunch at the Black Angus before heading back home. Once home, as was their routine, they lay down for a nap before planning to attend the evening church service. In a harrowing sequence of events, Joni and her children were in one bedroom while her mother occupied another area of the house when they were ruthlessly and fatally attacked. Strikingly, there were no apparent signs of forced entry. The assailant breached the house and initiated the assault by firing 2 shots at Joni's head in her bedroom, followed by targeting Lindsay in the center of her back. Ernestine, likely alerted by the noise, moved towards the hallway to investigate. She was armed with a .38 revolver, but tragically she never even had the opportunity to defend herself. The assailant fatally shot her twice in the face, leaving her collapsed in the hallway just outside her bedroom. Returning to Joni's room, the attacker proceeded to shoot Marcus and delivered a final fatal shot to the baby's back. Each gunshot was strategically aimed to ensure fatal harm. The assailant, rather than immediately fleeing, proceeded to the kitchen, retrieving a knife from the butcher block. Returning to the bedroom, they viciously stabbed Joni multiple times in the back. The assailant then tampered with the TV connections, but placed the TV carefully on the ground. Additionally, Joni's purse was emptied onto the laundry room floor, yet nothing valuable was taken, including money that was left untouched. It appeared the assailant aimed to mislead the authorities, creating the impression of a break-in and seeking to eliminate any potential witnesses. Afterward, the assailant covered the bodies in the bedroom with blankets and pillows taken from other rooms. On July 8, 2003, Joni's closest friend Kelsey Spann grew concerned as she hadn't heard from Joni, her mother, or the children since they attended church that Sunday. Worried that something might have happened, Kelsey decided to visit Joni's home to check on them. Using the key Joni had entrusted to her, Kelsey attempted to unlock the side door, but found it hard to do so as something was preventing it from opening. She proceeded to the back of the house and discovered an unlocked sliding glass door, which was an unusual occurrence. Upon entering, she made the grisly discovery of Joni, Ernestine, Marcus, Lindsay, and Marshall, all deceased. Acting swiftly, Kelsey contacted the authorities at 7 a.m., prompting their arrival to the horrifying scene where the 5 individuals had been brutally murdered. The peaceful ranch-style residence where Joni, her children, and mother resided sat in a tranquil corner lot within the neighborhood. Law enforcement concluded that the family was tragically killed on a Sunday afternoon, following their return from church. Detectives assessed the situation, identifying Joni as the primary target due to the severity of her injuries. They inferred that the assailant's actions indicated profound anger. Police expressed concern for Vincent's safety and discovered he had traveled to Ohio. One of the detectives, Detective Watts, traveled to North Carolina, as Vincent and his brother Melvin had gone there to visit their mother. Upon interacting with Vincent, North Carolina police found him in a traumatized state, deeply distressed, and unable to articulate coherent sentences, which didn't offer much insight into the investigation. His demeanor didn't align with that of a probable killer. Moreover, considering he was on the opposite side of the country at the time of the murders, they initially excluded him as a suspect. Additionally, Vincent provided receipts confirming purchases made on the days surrounding the tragedy, solidifying his absence from Bakersfield, California, where the horrific events unfolded. However, Detective Watts still harbored doubts. He observed that Vincent never asked how his wife and children died. On July 11, 2003, Vincent Brothers returned to Los Angeles, notably absent from his family's memorial service. However, on July 16, 2003, he attended their funeral. The police delved deeper into the investigation. They discovered that Vincent had moved out from his family's residence in April 2003 and was no longer living with them. His wife, Joni, had been planning a second divorce and intended to pursue child support for their children. Authorities also unearthed Vincent's history of violence against women, prompting a closer examination of his alibi. Further scrutiny revealed surveillance videos from store checkouts depicting Melvin, not Vincent, making purchases. Confronted with this evidence, Melvin disclosed that Vincent instructed him to visit various stores at specific times, using Vincent's name instead of his own. Police could not locate any witnesses who had seen Vincent during the tragic period. According to Melvin and the family, They had not encountered Vincent from the evening of July 4th to the evening of July 7th. Despite their efforts, authorities lacked direct evidence linking Vincent to the murders. Vincent Brothers had hired a Dodge Neon upon his arrival in Columbus, Ohio, and stayed at his brother's house. According to police speculations, Vincent purportedly flew to Columbus on July 2, 2003, under the pretense to visit family. On July 4th, he allegedly journeyed back from Ohio to Bakersfield, where the tragic incident occurred on the Sunday afternoon, July 6, 2003. Afterward, he returned to Ohio, arriving late on Monday the 7th. Law enforcement meticulously examined the Dodge, focusing on its radiator and air filters. The Bohart Museum of Entomology at the University of California, Davis was enlisted for assistance, with Dr. Lynn Kimsey, an expert in bug identification, meticulously analyzing insects found in the car. Dr. Kimsey's examination unveiled over 100 insects meticulously identified by species, notably some exclusive to the western region beyond the Rockies. Certain insects indicated Vincent traveled at night. Through careful analysis, she charted a path indicating the car's westward journey from Ohio. Investigators tracked down the vehicle's previous 5 renters, confirming none had driven the car to California or near the Rockies. In their scrutiny of evidence from the home, police focused on photographic evidence and observed a latex glove tip among items discarded in the laundry room. Upon testing, the tip revealed a DNA match, identifying it as a 1 in 16 billion match to Vincent Brothers. Detective Watts had discovered that Vincent intended to depart town, and noticed he had started to sell his possessions, and had even listed his house for sale. Consequently, on April 30, 2004, Vincent faced arrest and was charged with 5 counts of first-degree murder. The trial commenced in 2007, with prosecutor Lisa Green leading the case. The prosecution posited a theory, attributing the motive for the murders to financial motives, contending that Vincent acted out due to Joni's impending divorce, fearing potential child support payments. They portrayed Vincent as a serial adulterer, who would disappear for long periods of time, often responding violently when questioned upon resurfacing, particularly towards whoever his wife or girlfriend was at the time. Numerous witnesses, including Dr. Lynn Kimsey, were summoned by the prosecution. Kimsey attested that the insects discovered in the Dodge Neon aligned with those typically found along Interstate 70 while traveling. Testimony further corroborated that the 5,424 miles driven from July 2 to July 11 aligned with the presented evidence. However, when Melvin testified, he attempted to alter his previous statements, claiming that he had lied to the police regarding Vincent providing him with a credit card to use. The defense countered by presenting an expert in high-speed driving, asserting the difficulty of maintaining an average speed of 70 miles per hour throughout the journey from Ohio to California. They contended that such a trip would have been impossible for Vincent to accomplish. Additionally, their own pathologist took the stand, testifying that the murders likely occurred as late as Monday morning, on July 7, 2003. To support their case, the defense introduced interrogation tapes, aiming to demonstrate that Melvin had been coerced by the police into altering his testimony. They also brought forth a witness to a car incident that Vincent claimed took place on Sunday morning, where a boy on a bicycle collided with Vincent's rental car at an intersection. While this incident wasn't reported to the police due to no damages or injuries, the prosecution diligently sought to verify the bike accident story. Detective Watts traveled back to Ohio and located Tamba Levy, a car dealer who flew to California to testify. Levy confirmed that he was driving during the bike accident, and that the boy collided with his car while he was stationary at an intersection. The defense strategy involved presenting Vincent's other brother, Troy, as Vincent's alibi witness. Troy was intended to testify that he had flown in from New York and spent that Saturday and Sunday with Vincent, touring different state colleges in Ohio. Vincent expressed interest in applying to these colleges to further his graduate studies. However, complications arose when, after lunch on the day Troy was scheduled to testify, he was nowhere to be seen. Consequently, Vincent himself took the stand, vehemently denying any extramarital affairs and adamantly refuting the accusation of murdering his family. Throughout his testimony, Vincent frequently broke down in tears. The prosecution brought in Franklin School principal Carla Tafoya as a witness. She testified about her involvement with Vincent, dating back to the year his son was born in 1996, and their on and off relationship until 2002 when she ended it. Tafoya then confessed that she and Vincent had been intimate just weeks before the family tragedy, contradicting Vincent's staunch denial of previous affairs. This revelation undermined Vincent's claims of fidelity. The prosecution posited that the crime had been meticulously premeditated. Acquiring knowledge of the family's Sunday routine granted the killer control and a window of opportunity. Exploiting this familiarity, the perpetrator waited until the family was asleep, using a copied key to gain entry through the sliding glass door and methodically execute each member of the family. On May 15, 2007, Vincent received a guilty verdict on 5 counts of first-degree murder, with particular circumstances that made him liable for the death penalty. The jury, after hearing testimony from 137 witnesses, deliberated for just under 2 days before reaching their decision. Following the verdict, Vincent was escorted out of the courtroom and returned to Lerdo Detention Facility under strict security measures. On September 27, 2007, Judge Michael Bush of the Dern County Superior Court sentenced Vincent Brothers to death by lethal injection and was detained at San Quentin State Prison in California, where he is still currently housed. During the sentencing hearing, family members were granted the opportunity to deliver statements, among them an emotionally charged declaration from his only surviving child, his firstborn, Margaret Kern Brothers. Margaret announced her resignation from the Brothers family, expressing that upon leaving the courtroom, she would solely identify herself as Margaret Kern. She went on to state, "I am leaving my name with him. I don't have a father now. He is just a man handcuffed to a chair, looking straight ahead. He will never see me again, until it's time to die." Vincent Brothers lacked empathy and remorse for his actions, a common trait in what many call a psychopath. His perception of his children as mere objects suggested a complete detachment from any emotional connection with them. The act of stabbing Joni appeared to be a deliberate means of severing his ties with her on a physical level. His action of covering the victims seemed to indicate an attempt to shield himself from confronting the aftermath of his deeds, suggesting a deeply personal involvement in these killings. It is sad and unfortunate what all the victims faced against this monster. As we reflect on this heart-wrenching tale, our thoughts are with the victims whose lives were tragically cut short, and the loved ones they left behind. If you found this video compelling, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel, and check out our other videos. Thank you for watching.